Hello viewers, welcome to a new video. In this video, you will see how I designed a case for a Raspberry Pi 3 model in FreeCAD 1.0.1 using the tools of PartDesign Workbench. You will see how I used the ShapeBinder tool to import geometries of the Raspberry Pi 3 model into the PartDesign body object. And if you find this video useful, please don't forget to hit like. Let's get started. First of all, I will create a blank document. For that, I will click on the empty file option. I will save the document as case. And now I will import the Raspberry Pi 3 model into the document. For that, I will go to File and click on the Import option. Double-click Desktop File. I will rotate this model 90 degrees to the left in the x-axis. For that, I will select the part object in the tree view, right-click and click on the transform option. And now rotate the model 90 degrees to the left in the x-axis and OK to finish the transform tool. This 3D model is a set of several parts. If I go to the tree view and expand the tree of this part object, as you see, there are other objects inside it. If I expand the tree of this part object here, as you see, there are other objects inside it. There are 4 simple solids inside this part object here. If I select this part object and hit spacebar, as you see, I just hide some parts in the 3D view. From this, you can understand that the part object is a container of other objects or solids. It is different from the PartDesign body object. Okay, now let me show you how I designed the case for this Raspberry Pi 3 model. For that, I will be using the PartDesign Workbench to create a base for the case model. Before I start adding material to the document or creating any result in the PartDesign Workbench, I will first add a PartDesign body object to the tree view. For that, I will click on the Create Body icon, and this object will be added to the tree view. This object will store the creation history of the case. So now that I have the body object, I can start adding material to the document using the PartDesign Workbench. So I will create my first sketch attached to the XY plane for the first shape. I will click on the Create Sketch icon and double click the XY plane. And I am automatically in the Sketcher Workbench. I will switch to the Session View to see the axis cross. For that, I will click in the View Session icon, this icon, and now I will use the Center Rectangle tool to create a rectangular geometry in the sketch. For that, I will go to the Sketcher Geometries and expand the rectangle tools and select Center Rectangle and click on the Origin axis and create this rectangle. To set the dimensions of this rectangle, I need to import some geometries of the Raspberry Pi 3 model into the body object in order to use it as reference in this sketch. For that, first I will select this tool and close the sketch and zoom in here and select, for example, this face here, and hold Ctrl key and select this face here. And now press home on the keyboard and click on the ShapeBinder tool to import the faces into the body object. This binder object inside the body object represents the imported geometries from the Raspberry Pi 3 model. Now, what I want to do is to place this sketch after this binder object here. To do that, I will select the sketch first, right-click and click on the Move Object after Other Object option. And I will change here to Binder and then OK. As you see, now I have the sketch after this binder object. Now double click on the sketch, and as you see, I can see the imported geometries in the sketch. This happens because I am in the view session mode. So I will change to full view by pressing this icon, and I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model from the 3D view. To do that, I will go to the model tab and click on this icon of this part object and go back to tasks, and now I will use the Create External Geometry to extract the edge of these imported geometries from the Raspberry Pi 3 model. I will zoom in here and extract this edge here of this face, and here extract this edge. Okay, now I have these two edges here. I can use it as a reference to set the dimensions of this rectangle. I will select the dimension tool and zoom in here, click on this line and now in this edge and create a horizontal distance of 2.5 millimeters like this. And the same thing here, I click on this edge and now in this horizontal line and I set a vertical distance of 2.5 millimeters and enter. Okay, this sketch is full constrained, so I can close this without problems. I click close button and now I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible. For that I will click on this icon and next I will extrude this sketch here to create a free shape. For that I will select the sketch in the tree view and then click on the pad tool icon, press OK, and I will go to the sketch of this operation, expand the tree and select the sketch, and now I will go to data and go to attachment, position. What I will do here is to change the placement of the free sketch in the Z position. So I will change to the front view first, -7 millimeters, and enter. Next, I will double click on this pad operation and I will add transparency to this shape here. To do that, I will select, for example, this face here and press V+T on my keyboard and change to front. Okay, and now I will increase the length of this extrusion. Let me say 23 millimeters and see. Yes, 23 millimeters, it's fine. So now I will press OK to finish this operation, and here I have the first shape. And now I will create a sketch in this face here. I will use that sketch to create a pocket inside this model. I will select this face here and click on the create sketch icon, and I will use the external jump tool to extract this point here of this 3D model. Next, I will select the center rectangle tool and I will create a rectangle in the origin axis, and okay. I will change to section view to see these lines of this rectangle. I will zoom in here and select the dimension tool, and now I will apply this distance for this line and this point here. I will set 3 millimeters, and now this line here and this endpoint I will set distance of 3 millimeters also. This sketch is full constrained. I will close it, and now I will move the sketch -3 millimeters in the Z axis. To do that, with this sketch selected, I go to attachment, position, and Z position, and now I set -3 here and I enter. If I change to front view, as you see, now the sketch is here. Now I'm going to use this sketch to create a pocket inside this model. For that, I will select the sketch first, and I will click on the pocket tool and set here 23 -6 millimeters, and I will have 18 millimeters here. Okay, now I will select this model and spacebar to hide it in the 3D view, and now I will zoom in here. I will select this face and now control select this edge here and click on the ShapeBinder tool to import these geometries into the body object. I will click on the create sketch icon and I will double click on the XY plane, and next I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model. For that I will go to the model tab and click on this icon of this part object. Now I'm going to use the create external jump tool to extract this edge here in order to get the center point, and go to here and extract this. Now I'm going to use a rectangle tool to create a geometry here. Will be a construction geometry. So I will change the geometry to construction and expand the rectangle tool. Select this first tool here, rectangle tool, and now I zoom in and I click on the center point and I end this rectangle in the center point. I change back to normal geometries and I select cycle tool. I will create 4 cycles in the endpoints of this rectangle. I will skip this tool and go back to tasks. As you see, I have 4 degrees of freedom. What is missing here is to set the diameter of these cycles. So the first thing that I will do is to select these all cycles and make them equal. Okay, and now I will zoom in here and reduce the size of this cycle. I will increase the size, and next I will use the dimension tool to set the diameter of this cycle 6.5 millimeters and enter. And now this sketch is full constrained. As you see, I will close it, and next I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible by pressing this icon, and I will also make this operation visible by pressing this icon, and I will change to the front view. Okay, and now I will extrude this sketch here. For that, first I will select the sketch and click on the path tool. I will increase the size. I will reverse the duration of this extrusion and I will decrease the length to, okay, 7 millimeters, it's fine. Now I will press OK here and change the placement of the sketch. I will go to this operation and expand the tree. I will first make the sketch visible by pressing spacebar. As you see here, I have the sketch. So -1 millimeters, it's okay. Now I will change the length of this extrusion to 6 millimeters, and it's fine. Okay, now I'm going to reuse the sketch here to create another extrusions. For that, I will select the sketch and Ctrl C to create a copy, and now use the regional selections and Ctrl V in the keyboard to paste the sketch into the document. Now I will drag the sketch into this body. I will hide the sketch here, spacebar, and double click on the sketch. I will go to the model and click on this icon. And also I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model and zoom in here, and now I'm going to delete this dimension and reduce the size of this cycle. And I will use the dimension tool again to set the diameter of this cycle. I will set 2.75 millimeters, and I think it's okay, or I can set 2.5 here like this, and I'll skip 2 times to leave this sketch. And next I will select the path tool. I will change to front view and zoom in here. Now I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible, and with the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible, I will reduce the size of this extrusion here. So I will set 3 millimeters for this extrusion, and okay. Okay, now that I have this, I can start creating holes in this face here, this face, and this face here. I will start from this face here. I will select this face and create a sketch on it. This sketch I will use to create pockets in this model. I will select the rectangle tool and create 3 rectangles. And now I will select these 2 lines of this rectangle and make them equal, and this line and this line here and this line here equal. And now I will select these 2 endpoints here and I will constrain horizontal. For that I will click here and select constrain horizontal. I will close this sketch, and also I will hide this operation, this pad operation. I will zoom in here. I will select this face, hold Ctrl key and select this face here. And next, this face here. I will rotate this view and zoom in here and select this face. And here I will also select this face, and now I will click on the ShapeBinder tool to import this geometry into the body object. Okay, now that I have this, I can go back to the sketch, double click. I'm going to hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model and the pad operation. I go to the model tab, I click on this icon and in this icon here. Now I will select the external geometry tool and I will extract this edge here and this edge. Next I will extract this edge here. Now I select the dimension tool, I click on this line here and now this line here, and I set 1 millimeters. Okay, and next I will skip this tool and drag this line to here and use the dimension tool again. I set the distance here of this point and this line here to 1 millimeters. Okay, and in this geometry I will only click on this point and now in this point here and set a distance of 1 millimeter. And the sketch is full constrained. As you see, I will go back to tasks and close this sketch. And now I will use the pocket tool to create a pocket. I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible by pressing this icon, and I will go back to tasks and increase the length of this pocket. But first I will change to top view to see what is happening here. Okay, I will increase the size of this pocket to 21 millimeters and okay. Okay, and now I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model. I select it and spacebar, and now I select this face here, and now I select this face here and click on the pocket tool, and I make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible. Go back to tasks and change to top view. I'll set 3.75, and it's okay. I press OK here to finish this. And next I will select this face here and create a sketch on it. What I'm going to do is to use the rectangle tool to create the geometry for this sketch. And here I will use a cycle geometry. I will select the cycle tool and create the cycle. And now I will leave the sketch by pressing this icon. And next I will import some geometry of the Raspberry Pi 3 model into the body object to use it as a reference in the sketch to set the placements of these geometries. For that, I will hide this operation and zoom in here. I will hold Ctrl key and select this face and this face here and this face here. Zoom out here, and now I go to this side here and I select this face, this one here, and next this face here, and I'll zoom out and zoom in here and I select this face and this face here. Now with this all faces selected, I will click on the ShapeBinder tool to import the geometries into the body object. Now double click the sketch and I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model and this model. I go to the model tab and I hide this Raspberry Pi 3 model and this operation. Now I will use the external jump tool and extract this edge here to get the center point. This edge and this edge. I select the dimension tool, I click on this point and now in this line here and I set 1 millimeters. Okay, now I go to this geometry, I skip this tool and then I select these two center points and I place and I will make them constant by pressing this, by using this tool here. And now I will reduce the size of the cycle and I will use the dimension tool to set the downward of the cycle to 6.75 millimeters. And I'll skip 2 times to leave the sketch, and next I will use the pocket tool to create the holes and OK here. Now I'll zoom out here and I select this face now and I create a new sketch on it. I zoom out here and what I'm going to do here is to create a centered rectangle geometry. I will create this geometry and next I will close this sketch. I will hide this operation, the pocket operation, and I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible. I will rotate the view and zoom in here and select some face of this Raspberry Pi 3 model. I will select this face here, hold Ctrl key and this face here, and next I will select this face here. With these 3 faces selected, I will click on the ShapeBinder tool to import the geometries and I'll double click on the sketch. And now I will hide the Raspberry Pi 3 model and this operation. For that, I will go to the model tab, click on this icon of the part object and in this operation. Now I zoom in here and I select the external jump tool and I extract this edge here and this edge here and now this edge. Okay, next I select the dimension tool. I click on this point here and now in this line here and I set 1 millimeters. Now I will select this point and this line here and set 1 millimeters. Next I will select this point and this line here and set a distance of 1 millimeters. And now I will leave the sketch by pressing this icon and next I will select the pocket tool to create a hole, to create a pocket and OK here. I will go to the model. In the tree view, I will select this binder, hold Ctrl key, this binder, this one here, this object, and hit spacebar. Okay, and now I will make the Raspberry Pi 3 model visible, and as you can see I have this, and this is the base model. I'm going to use this model to create the bottom cover and the top cover of the Raspberry Pi 3 case. The first thing that I will do here is to change to the part workbench and create a simple copy of this body object, this 3D model. I will change to part workbench. Okay, and I will select the body object and go to part and create a copy and create a simple copy. Here I have this. Now I'm going to disable this body object, double click, and hide this Raspberry Pi 3 model and also this body object. Okay, now I have this. As you can see, I will go back to PartDesign Workbench. I will save the document and I will select this body 001 and create a body object. Okay, here I have this, as you can see. Now I'm going to select this face here and create a sketch on it. And now I will zoom in here. I will select the external jump tool and extract this edge here. And next I will use the center rectangle tool with rounded corners to create this geometry in the vertical axis. Next I use the dimension tool to set the radius of this arc here to 5 millimeters and the distance from this line to this edge here I will set 3 millimeters. And now from this line here to this endpoint I will create a vertical distance of 3 millimeters. Skip 2 times to leave this sketch. And now I will select the pocket tool and set a length of 2 millimeters here. Click off and now OK. Now I will select this face here and create a sketch on it. I will zoom in here and select the slot tool and create this geometry. And now I will use the dimension tool to set the radius of this arc here to 7 millimeters. And next I will use the external jump tool and extract this edge here, for example, to get the center point. And now I will drag this point to here. And next I will select the center point and this center point here and apply a horizontal constraint. I will click on this icon and I have this, as you can see. Next I will select the dimension tool again and now I will click on this line here and set a distance of 54 millimeters. And now to full constrain this geometry, I will select the center point and now this center point here and I will set 6 millimeters. I will close this sketch and select pocket tool. I will set 2 millimeters for this pocket and OK. Now I rotate the view and I select this face here and then I create a new sketch. Now I zoom in here, I select slot tool and I create this geometry. Okay, next I use the constraint symmetric and I constrain the center point and the center point of the slot in this vertical axis. Next I use the dimension tool again and now this time I will set this length here to 18 millimeters and this radius to 5 millimeters. And now I will click on this center point and now in this horizontal axis and set a vertical distance of 1.35 millimeters. I close the sketch and next I use the pocket tool. I will set a length of 2 millimeters here and enter and it's all. And next here I will zoom in and select this edge and go to chamfer tool, this tool here. I will change the size to 1.5 millimeters. As you see I have this and next I will click on the select button and select this face here and select this edge here. And next rotate the view and select this edge and now preview and I have this, as you can see. Now I press OK to finish the chamfer operation. And next I will select this edge, hold Ctrl key and select this edge and next this edge here, rotate the view and select this edge. And now I go to the fillet tool and I set a length of and a center radius of 1 millimeters. It's fine, no problem. Now I press OK here. Next, I will create a sketch, attach it to the XY plane. I will click on the create sketch icon and I will select the XY plane. I will switch to the session view and I will select the center rectangle tool. I will create this rectangle geometry and next I will create this geometry here. I will zoom in here and drag this point to here, and next I will select the dimension tool and set a length for this line here. I will set this dimension and enter. And now from this line here to the vertical axis, I will set a distance of 43.05 millimeters. It's okay. And now I will close the sketch. Okay, and next I will change to right view. Zoom in here and I will switch to the model tab, select the sketch and go to attachment and Z position, and I will change the placement of this sketch to here. I think here is okay, -2 millimeters. And now I'm going to remove material in this 3D model. I will select the sketch and click on the pocket tool. I will change here to foreground and OK. Now I will create a copy of this body object. I select this body object, Ctrl C and OK here, and now Ctrl V to paste the body object in this document. Okay, now I double click on this pocket operation and I set reverse it, and now I press OK here. So in the 3D view, I have two different objects. For example, if I select, let me disable this body object, double click. If I select this body object and hit spacebar, as you see, I have only this model in the 3D view. If I select this body object and hit spacebar, I only have this model in the 3D view. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to hide this body object. I select it and the spacebar, and next I will activate this body object. Double click. In this body object, I will create a new sketch attached to the YZ plane. I will use the sketch to create a snap fit joint. So I will click on the create sketch icon and select YZ plane, and I will switch to session view by pressing this icon. Zoom in here and select create external geometry and extract this edge here. Now I select the polygon tool, I zoom in here and I create this geometry. Now I select the constraint horizontal and vertical, and I make this line horizontal and this line horizontal. Next here, I will skip this tool and select these 2 points here and place a vertical constraint, this one here. And next I will select the equal constraint and make this line and this line equal. And next I will make this line here and this line equal. Okay, like this. And skip this tool, and now I will select these two. And now I will select these two endpoints and place a horizontal constraint. Okay, here I have this. Next I select the dimension tool. I selected this line and this line here, and I will create an angle of 100 degrees. Okay, like this. And next I will set this one here to 1.45 millimeters. Okay, like this. Next I will select this point and this point here and set a distance of 3 millimeters. I will drag this line to here, and now I will select the dimension tool, click on this line here and set 3 millimeters. Okay, as you can see I have this. I will zoom in here and reduce the size and drag this point to here. I will select the dimension tool, and now I will click on this line here and I will set 0.75 millimeters. Okay, I think it's okay. Now I will hide all these constraints here by pressing this icon. And next I will change the geometries to construction geometries and select the polygon tool. And now I will create this geometry. Okay, next I will use the constraint vertical and horizontal and make this line horizontal line. And next I will select the parallel constraint and make this line parallel to this one, and this one here parallel to this line here. And now I will drag this point to here. I will select these 2 points here and place a horizontal constraint. Here I have this. Next I will use the dimension tool. I will click in this line here and set 1.45 millimeters. And I have this, as you can see. Next I will use the constraint equal. I will make this line and this line here equal. Okay, and next here I will select these 2 endpoints and place a horizontal constraint. Next I select the dimension tool. I click on this line here and now in this line here, and I will set a distance of 0.1 millimeters. And the sketch is full constrained. I will hide these all constraints here, pressing this icon 2 times. And now I will close this sketch. And next I will change the placement of this sketch here. I select this sketch and then I go to Z direction, Z position, and I increase here to, okay, I will add transparency to this 3D model. For that I will select this face here and V+T on the keyboard. And now I select this sketch again and I zoom in here, and next I change the placement here to, let me say, 28 millimeters. Okay, now with this sketch selected, I will create a pocket and I will reverse the direction of this pocket. I will set the length for, okay, I think 14 millimeters, it's okay. If I change to front, as you can see, it's all okay. I press OK here. And next I will create a copy of the sketch. I will go to this pocket operation. I click in here. I select the sketch here and Control C, and now use original selections and now Control V. And I make the sketch visible, spacebar, and drag the sketch into this body object. Okay, and now I will double click on this sketch here. And what I'm going to do here is to mirror these geometries. So I will select these geometries and click on the mirror tool. Where's the mirror tool here? I can go to sketch and sketch geometries, no, sketcher constraints, no, sketcher tools. And I will select this option here, symmetry. Now I click on the vertical axis, and here I have this, as you can see. What I'm going to do now is to change this geometry here to a construction geometry. For that I will select all lines of this geometry like this, zoom in here, select this line and this line here, and now this line, and click on this icon here. And now I have this, as you can see. I close this sketch, and next here I will select the pocket tool and I will change to top view, and I'll increase the size of this pocket. I will set 30 millimeters here. Okay, I will say 60, and it's okay. Now I press OK here. And now what I'm going to do is to create copies of the sketch here and a sketch of this pocket here. To do that, I will select this sketch and I'll control this sketch and I'll Control C and use original selections. Okay, and now I disable this body object, double click, and now I activate this body object, double click, and now Control V here, and I select these 2 sketches and I drag into this body object here. And now I will make this first sketch visible, spacebar. I will hide this body object here and make this one visible. And as you can see here, I have the sketch. I double click on the sketch here, and what I'm going to do now is to change this geometry to a normal geometry. To do that, I will select these 2 geometries and click on this icon, and as you can see I have this. Now I close this sketch, and next I will make this body object visible, spacebar, and I select this sketch here, and now I click on the pad tool, and I will increase the size and I will increase the length to, okay, here must be 14 millimeters. And okay, as you see here I have this. Now I will double click on the sketch here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I will select these two geometries and click on the construction geometry. Now I close the sketch, and next I make the sketch visible, spacebar, and I select and I click on the path tool. I will check the reversed option and I will increase the length to 6 millimeters. Now I press OK here. Now I'm going to hide this body object, and I have this, as you can see. And now I have this, as you can see. So this is the final model. Thank you for watching this video. If you find this video useful, please don't forget to hit like and share this video with your friends. If you want to support the content of this channel, you can do that. Just go to the description of this video and you'll find a link to the channel's Ko-Fi page. Or you can support the channel buying the ebook that's appearing on the screen now. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.